The myth, the legend has released a new video, Gigak, the current state of romance anime. I love romance anime. Some people love it. I really love it. It takes away a lot of it takes a lot of like just this fucking this fucking pressure that like other anime gives you, and so I like it. But like, what's his opinion about it? I want to know. So let's check it out.
Hey you! Who, me? Are you a shy / socially awkward nerd who may or may not be cripplingly addicted to anime? Yes? Are you looking for a girl that's popular, charming, and attractive, but also has a secret side where she likes the same things you do? How does he know? Are you still a teenager in high school? Well, why not try your local romance anime where we have all the hot single girls in your area looking for a shy, lonely nerd today? Where do I sign up? The romance genre is an absolute staple of anime and manga, and you know why we watch it. The love triangles.
Let me just check one last. Okay.
Hand-holding, the first confession, the drama. This is why we keep coming back time and time again. And look, if you're a regular viewer, you probably know the types of romances that I tend to gravitate towards. That's right. The respectable ones. But recently there's been a subgenre that has emerged that has dominated the entire space that I've been struggling to find a name to properly describe. It's been called a lot of things, but the best I can come up with right now is the modern romance power fantasy. You know, it's the one where you have the guy and he's the quiet guy who's probably a nerd and likes anime. I wonder who that's meant to represent. And he has a thing for the popular girl in class, and sometimes she's blind, and sometimes she's Russian, and sometimes she's his sister. And I don't want you to take this the wrong way, because as a seasoned isekai connoisseur, just because I call something a power fantasy doesn't mean it's inherently bad or can't come with great writing and well-written characters. Like, I really enjoyed Nagatoro. Dress Up Darling was amazing as well, and then they started making more and more. Alright, we're still going. Okay, there's still more. Okay, that's good. I think we're good now. Okay, we're still going. Okay, that's more. That's good. I'm good. That's enough slices! I thought the trend was going to peak a while ago, and yet somehow...
Get it? Because usually anime slice of life, and a romance anime also slice of life. No, it's probably a joke that I made up by accident, but sometimes the right moment and the right opportunity appears.
Some way, it is only getting more popular. I mean, just look at this season alone. And look, I'm gonna be real. A lot of these times...
Yeah, why would it be more and more popular rather than fucking... The world is dying and we have barely any hope, and say... Bro, like, I try to fucking... I watch this, not fucking watch the news, okay?
I've glazed over these shows because most of the time they're always a bit too comfy, a bit too drama-free. Not enough spice compared to the romance anime I grew up with. But I needed to know why this has become such a dominating force in the space. So I thought I'd give it a second chance because I needed to reacclimate to normal society after rewatching Scum's Wish. I picked 3 recent shows that have just kept showing up on my timeline to see why this genre just doesn't seem to be going away. Are these as much of an unrealistic power fantasy as your standard isekai, just with a new lick of paint? Do I have the wrong image of them? Are these shows doing anything new in a saturated genre? Is this the new template for the modern anime fan wish fulfillment show? But you know what is my ultimate power fantasy? Hitting my favorite 5-star character on my first 10 roll, which I'm sure is going to happen with today's sponsor, Zenless Zone Zero. That's right, gacha gamers, Zenless Zone Zero has just dropped its version 3.0 Zone Zero. That's right, 10 roll, which I'm
Let me just...
sure is going to happen with today's sponsor, Zenless Zone Zero. That's right, gacha gamers, Zenless Zone Zero has just dropped its version 3.0 update, A Sleepwalker's Confession, and there is so much new content, so let's just jump right into it. Introducing Roskildefer, the brand new world, a massive sky island city with a British urban cyberpunk aesthetic that might just be the most visually impressive new content in the game's history. This place is absolutely loaded with interactive content and new exploration mechanics, and it's within this world that the story moves into Season 3. delivering a completely fresh start and some of the most high-intensity and emotionally charged content the game has ever seen. There's also a brand new S-rank agent in Vyrah, the game's first ever win attribute agent, launching along with a brand new elemental combat system, and a brand new addition to my favorite gacha game character archetype, the Dummy Mummy. But don't worry, I know exactly why you're here. Sure, new version means new content, but it also means free stuff. Just by playing the main story, you can claim the Faith and Faction agent, Pyros. Pyros' Mindscapes and W engine, and the campus-style outfit for the protagonist for free. But that's not all. During the version period, you can also get yourself 20 pulls and 1600 polychromes through the standard rewards. And finally, you can also claim the additional 60 polychromes and 6,666 dennies using the code on screen.
And here we go, time to use my own code again. This is the best part of the job.
If you're one of the few people that hasn't done so yet, click that link in the description to download the game today and get stuck into the 3.0 update. You'll find the coupon code down there too. Thank you once again to Zenless Zone Zero for sponsoring us today, and with that said, back to the video. Starting things off with gals can't be kind to otaku. Or can they? Okay, so I'll be clean with you. Out of the 3 shows I watched, this was the one that came closest to playing out like the romance wish fulfillment playbook. Anime has been in a full-on gyaru renaissance recently, and this time we got not 1, but 2 of them at the same time. They seem like your stereotypical popular anime girls in class, except nah, not these girls. They're not like other girls, which must be true because the opening says so.
I'm not like those other girls you're
Yeah, individualism, am I right? No one is like no one.
used to.
Because you see, one of them is secretly
Individualism, yeah.
nerd who's into anime stuff, which is exactly like every other anime girl.
I'm not like those other girls you're used to.
And who's our protagonist this time? Of course, it's the shy, unpopular anime nerd, but from the get-go, he makes it clear that he's not like other otaku. Nuh-uh, he's different from every other otaku protagonist because he likes anime for girls.
I'm not like those other
Otaku.
you're used to.
And what would you know, one of the other girls is also secretly into the exact same show he is. So, after building up the courage, he presses her about it, and they form an unlikely friendship. The other girl also gets involved, and they all start hanging out, bonding over nerd shit. Then, of course, the 2 girls start developing feelings for him. Bada bing, bada boom, there are 2 Marin Kitagals in your room. It's a very recognizable formula that's been done so many times before, so that begs the question, am I really going to enjoy this show because we got not just 1 but 2 gyarus this time? Yes. The answer is yes. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a simple man. I see 2 peak gyaru designs with likable personalities in a show with great production values from your typical romance, and I'm gonna fuck with it. I mean, just look at his opening, man. It's got the colors, it's got the movements, it's got the vibes, and I don't even like K-pop. But shit, if we get more S-tier gyarus, I'll become the biggest Stray Kids, Blackpink, BTS, TXT listener. I don't even know what I'm saying. These are just letters to me. Have I seen this exact play-by-play before? Yes. Did this show do a lot to surprise me? No, but it was just really well executed, and I think the main reason I think this show worked really well is that it gives us a love triangle with equally strong contenders on both sides. Too many romance anime come to their stories pretending to have a love triangle that looks like this, but you know, a lot of the time it actually just looks like this. Here, both girls get introduced at the same time, they both have their equal charms, and they share an equal amount of screen time with the protagonist. I came into this with the mindset of it being your typical comfort romances, but with 2 girls this time, but the more episodes I watched, the more I realized what this show truly is. This is a harem anime with only 2 options. And boy, now you're entering my playing field. As much as I had a good time with it though, I gotta be honest, it did have its fair
I love triangle. Here you go. That's for all the math that you thought that you missed in school, that they never taught you in school. That's all the math that they never taught you in school. Love triangles. Don't question.
share of moments that I like to call shit I see in romance anime that makes me want to become a grass toucher. Main character creaming their pants over the slightest bit of female touch. Oh man, alright lads, I think it's been a while since I've gone out for a run, yeah? Protagonist having a full-blown hallucination thanks to smelling a woman's scent in his room. Oh shit, there was a park this close to where I live? How the fuck have I not been there yet? Anime character having a full-on anxiety attack over the thought of an indirect kiss. Hello? Yeah, sorry, mate, I'm a bit busy. I'm sending off job applications to become the groundkeeper in the next World Cup. One thing I will say that stood out, though, was this show's focus on friendship. Our main boy Takia shares a different type of friendship with each girl. With Amane, they have this shared interest in a niche hobby they can bond over that they can't really do with anyone else, and it's only really around each other that they can truly let their passions come out, aka the introvert friend. And then with Ijichi, you have someone who has totally different hobbies and likes, but she takes a general interest in his interests. She learns about them, asks him about his fan art, but in turn, she also brings him out into situations he normally wouldn't put himself in. And it's because of her that we see a new side to him, aka the extrovert friend. And it's this friendship that everyone, especially the girls, are afraid to mess with, because on Takiya's side, bro doesn't even register them as a romantic partner. He's just ecstatic he can find people he can nerd out with about his favorite topic.
オタクくんはどっちがタイプ？
僕は
And though it's so blindingly obvious that the two girls know how each other feels towards Takiya, there seems to be this unspoken agreement that no matter what happens, they're not going to let that affect their friendship with each other, reminding us that in the equal battlefield of love, the players can still look at each other and go, hey, you may be my competition, but you're not my enemy. Now tell that to the average Messi and Ronaldo fan. And it was this focus on friendship first over romance that I started to notice in a lot of the other shows. Because moving on, let's throw high school out the window for a second and focus on a protagonist that is closer to my age. I mean, way older. Far, far, far older. So old, I would never be able to relate to him. He's not that old, right guys? We're talking about Smoking Behind the Supermarket with you. Older viewers may remember I've already gassed up this title when it was a manga, and now that the anime is just released and I've seen so many posts discovering the Greek goth goddess that is Tayama, all I can say is...
Yeah, fucking told you so.
But I know the internet has given everyone the memory of a goldfish, so allow me to give you a refresher.
¿Quieres?
The show follows Sasaki, aka Billy No Mate's full-on solitude maxing. He's your prototypical middle-aged Japanese salaryman. He works hard, frequently stays behind until go fuck yourself o'clock, where his only solace in life is seeing the smile of his favorite cashier.
Oh no, the go fuck yourself clock. That's such a fucking... a classic clock in corporate.
At the supermarket, the angel in an apron Yamada. I think the only way we can describe him having a healthy work balance is if we use your mum as a counterweight. You can tell a lot about a man about what he buys at Tesco's after a long day of work, so let's see what our lad is picking up. Alright, looks like he's got some half-price daikon. Ooh, what else? Some mochi chips? I see you, big man. And oh yes, it's been a long day, so here comes a couple of cold ones. Respect, respect. Oh damn, must have been a really long day of really long day of work. Okay, brother, okay, you can stop now, okay? Come on, brother, that's enough! On this one day, though, Yamada is nowhere to be found, so he has to find some other way to cope with his life.
500 cigarettes.
And who does he find wandering around in the smoking area? Yes, it's the sassy lassie Tayama.
何系かわからんけど強い見た目の子だなスーパーの従業員とは思えない
I wonder who she could be!
かし雑すぎるだろう田山と山田って
And well, that's the show. Sasaki comes by the supermarket after work to smoke and shoot the shit with Yamada. I'm sorry, Tayama. Over time, they relax and open up. Their fondness of one another grows, and all the while, Tayama withholds the secret that she's actually his angel and his devil. So yeah, this is basically what happens if you put Senko-san and Call of the Night into a blender with a carton of Lucky Strikes. Blood's about to become the world-ranked #1 cancer speedrunner.
でももし医者にタバコやめろって言われたら
I just simply turn around and tell them to fuck off.
The reason I wanted to revisit this series was just to show that you don't always need to be in high school to get a little bit of cheeky power fantasy. Because
This
yes,
is true, and I think that like this is one of the problems, but like anime is slowly adapting to some Western culture that are like simply it's just that because like most of Ramen's anime are in high school, and I believe that like I hope at least that like it will get better, because like the romance part is nice, the high school part is bro, like who the fuck goes to high school these days, right? Like it's nice to have something that is not a media that talks about world destruction, paying for the consequences of our acts, and actually like having something relatable rather than either that or let's go to fucking high school. People didn't hold hand, and the first kiss is something special. Like, it's not something that I disrespect. It's just that, like, for some, like, oh my fucking god, and I don't want to get into Korean drama to fucking get my blood pumping, you know? Like,
Teenager, you can fantasize about getting noticed
because, like, Japan, like, as a way to write romance that is not completely toxic as well, so
by the popular girl in class, but, you know, as an exhausted adult crashing out after your 9-to-5 grind, what man wouldn't want to vibe with a hot anime goth girl after hours, even if you have to speedrun cancer in the process? At face value, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what this show's appeal is. I mean, just look at her. Tayama's aesthetic is basically peak performance in the eyes of 90% of modern anime fans. She's what Michelangelo would come up with if you asked him to sculpt the perfect Reddit profile picture.
あんた見継がされているんですか?
Yep.
And I don't know, there's just something about her that reminds me of someone else. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Oh. But you know, unlike all of us down bad degenerates, Sasaki is a gentleman. He's genuinely not here to creep on Yamada, he's just here for the vibes. In fact, not a single line of dialogue slips his lips, or even his internal monologues would suggest that he has any salacious intentions. That, or maybe Tayama just isn't his type.
お腹より腕が好きってか。
Yep, that confirms it. He's got no interest in hitting on Tayama because his perfect girl is actually Geodude. Cause you know, while romance is down there as one of its main tags, I'd argue that's not the main driving force of this show at all. Sure, there's no shortage of blushes and moments of overt flirting from Yamada in this show, but they always feel at least organic and quite frankly are the weakest parts of the show for me. But what I do love about this show, and where I think it shines the brightest, is it being about two people who outwardly could not be more different, but in fact are very much the same. Because the focus of this series is on Sasaki, as a viewer it's easy to miss that Yamada is going through pretty much the same stress as he is. Outside of work, we don't see any friends or family of hers. The show puts great emphasis on all the nights Sasaki works until midnight, but brushes over the fact that Yamada is always there at the supermarket at that time as well. The show makes it very clear that he is as much of a comfort to her as both versions of her are to him.
しょうがないじゃん。佐々木さん、私の癒し枠なんだもん。
何それ?
山田さんのレジ並ぶ佐々木さんと同じだよ。
Because the focus of the show is the time they spend together and their jobs, you rarely see anything outside of that. But the one time you do, you see both of them live in small apartments with near to no visible possessions, eating junk food and drinking alcohol.
酒買って裏でタバコ吸って帰って寝る。
From what we've seen so far, they simply don't have anything else. And for Yamada, it's perhaps even worse because the comforting third space they share between them is literally behind the very supermarket she works at. And it's this shared experience that makes their conversation feel so organic, like it's the actual stuff people in their shoes would actually shoot the shit about. This is a show where most of its content is just two people sitting in the same place every episode having a chinwag, and it's no small feat to making a formula like that engaging episode after episode. I recently rewatched the film Lost in Translation, and there's this one scene where Bill Murray's character is with the much younger Scarlett Johansson's character after a serendipitous meeting that has brought the two strangers together. And after a long night of exploring a foreign city, partying and getting lost, they are just laying in bed in an ungodly hour just talking about life. It's a moment that is so intimate, but not in any weird or romantic way. It's just two people from two different walks of life talking about their deepest feelings, their hopes, their dreams, their regrets, and it's two souls bonding. I love this scene so much. It's a moment that so perfectly captures those 3 a.m. deep conversations you have where all barriers are broken down. For some reason, you feel like opening up, and it's reciprocated by the person you're talking to, and you get to have the types of conversations you never usually would under any other circumstances. And it's these conversations that you'll remember between the two of you for years to come. Now, take this moment and make an entire show around it, and that is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, because it's episode after episode where you feel a small subtle change in how much of a positive effect they have on each other's lives. Gradually, the scenes of Sasaki's work feel less and less stressful. Things that would have previously knocked him out, he begins to take in his stride. You can feel that because he's now got something more positive going in his life, everything else feels more positive because of it. Work is easier when there's something after work to look forward to. For a show of this type that is clearly targeted towards an older audience, I can definitely say that this is the vibe I goddamn crave even more than having a straight up romance. But again, having a show with this setup that is more catered to a mature audience is certainly a rarity in anime, cause
yeah, and this type of rarity is something that makes like shows like this really pop up and give me at least give me hope that like we'll get more, because like I cannot fucking relate to first love type of anime romance where it's like it's just not me anymore, you know? Like romances like this is more what I believe in, what I live, and what will happen to me. So it's something that is more enjoyable to me.
Going back to high school, if there was one show that on paper looked like it checked every box for the purest wish fulfillment romance power fantasy bingo this season, it was of course I Made Friends with the second prettiest girl in class.
週末とかちょっと楽しみにしてることとかもない？
Stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking my shit.
Now, I went into this show with alarm bells ringing just reading the title alone, because I Made Friends with the second prettiest girl in class? Like, is there a better shorthand name for this show? Pretty girl, I Made Friends. Only friend! IMFWTTPGIC. Secondly, who in this high school decided that she was the second prettiest girl? Did all these girls compete in Miss Japan? Does the school have a pretty girl power ranking system? Are these boys taking a list and arguing who's prettier than Goku? Then episode 1 starts, and it's exactly the type of show you think it's going to be. You got this guy, Maki, and just to give you a little bit of insight about the type of guy he is, we get introduced to him where he announces himself to the class as the guy with 0 hobbies who spends his weekends alone eating pizza, watching movies, and drinking Coke. I shit you not. Under skills, he puts gaming. Brother, what? Shit, man, why stop there? You could have added not showering, being broke, and giving your opinion on the new God of War game. Blood's Tinder profile probably has as much chance of finding a match as Italy does winning this year's World Cup. Sorry, Italy, I didn't mean for you to catch strays. I'm just really into the World Cup right now. But of course, this is anime, where having the personality of lukewarm beer makes you a full-on Giga Chad in the anime high school hierarchy, and Umi, the titular second prettiest girl in class, takes notice and follows him into a store so they can bond over B-movies together, and from there they become friends, hanging out, watching movies, and playing video games. On the surface, everything about the show screams cheap romance wish fulfillment. You've got the loner main character, introvert, who gets noticed by the popular girl in class that shares a secret interest with the guy that is used as a foundation for a friendship. And for bonus points, this girl is super desperate for a friend because she has no guy friends at all. She doesn't know how to talk to a guy properly, which is about as believable as Ryan Gosling being a boy failure in Project Hail Mary. Look, I get it. If I was a teenager still, I would have eaten this concept up. But how the hell am I going to get invested now that these characters are just your normal teenage high schooler?
おかえり、海。
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
I was prepared to go on a rant on how this isn't too dissimilar to your cheap power fantasy isekais, except the fantasy is just a different genre. But then I kept watching, and it actually started to surprise me. And if you want to go into the show blind, here's where you can stop now, because I will be spoiling some plot developments. A question people often ask me is, what separates a good isekai from a bad isekai? To which I answer, the exact same thing that separates a good anime from a bad anime. Good writing, good characters, and execution. It's no rocket science, there's no secret formula, and I Made Friends, executes this far better than what I was expecting. Umi and Maki are just two grounded characters who genuinely make a great couple that are far less tropey than the premise would make you believe. Premise aside, before any
that's
romance,
nice.
this is what it feels like to see a real friendship form. You know that feeling of having that friend in your life? You know, it's your boy or girl that you're just really excited to be able to hang out with whenever you get the chance. It doesn't matter what activity you're doing or if you're doing any activity at all. You could be sitting next to each other, scrolling on your phones in complete silence while memes play on in the TV, but it's still a baller time because damn, your vibes just fit together perfectly. This show captures that feeling. It's been a while since I've seen a relationship develop so naturally in a romance anime. It's not about the big romantic moments or gestures of love. It's about two people who just sincerely enjoy spending time with each other, forming a genuine human connection. If anything, it felt closer to a slice of life. This shit was moving so naturally, you don't even notice a specific point they start developing feelings for each other. They just kind of feel like they always have or always should have done. After a while, you just notice they casually start going on dates, holding hands, sleeping over, and the protagonist isn't going, oh my god, I'm holding hands with a girl. This is the first time I've ever felt a touch of a woman. Forget the will they, won't they? This is the when will they, because they already clearly like each other. Wait, what? Is that the big confession? I'm sorry, what episode are we on? Episode 5? There's like 7 episodes left! The biggest surprise is that when it's less than halfway through, the series drops a bombshell and blows its metaphorical load by giving us the big confession that most romance anime build towards. Which is great to subvert expectations, but you see, my domestic girlfriend brain-rotted ass was like, that's it? Where's the conflict gonna come from? Where's the drama gonna come from? How are they gonna keep the story interesting? But this is where it really starts to show its true colors. Because instead of manufacturing conflicts, like adding a third girl midway through to introduce a love triangle and the audience thinks, oh great, here she comes. They've introduced the Italy of the best girl tournament. The conflict is instead internal. I thought the title was just going to be light novel clickbait, but one of the central driving forces of the plot is Umi dealing with her inferiority complex of being seen as the second best girl. Her friends use her as a stepping stone to get to know the real shining class star, Yu. She's never felt like she's truly had a real friendship where she's treated as an equal and just appreciated for who she really is. And Maki is right in the middle of a family divorce. His dad is seeing another woman, his mum is clearly fighting off a boatload of stress, and as a teenager, he's dealing with so much turmoil, he shuts down and emotionally distances himself from the problem and in turn, everything else in his life. None of this is presented in a dramatic or over-the-top way. It's muted, it's quiet, and it just feels real. This was a level of emotional depth I wasn't expecting from this show. Both of their troubles stems from a lack of ability to fully talk and communicate about their inner feelings, and it's the bonds they form with each other that helps them to gather the courage to confront these problems head on. Funnily enough, the romance is really just a byproduct of the two of them pushing to bring out the best in their respective partners to help them through these issues. And I think this is the exact point that I realize why these types of romance shows are so prevalent in the modern anime space. Because yes, you can argue that, hey, a lot of guys just want to get noticed by the popular girl in class and, oh my god, she likes anime and video games, mom, get the camera! But go a layer deeper, and I can see with a lot of these shows, yes, they are romance anime with the ultimate goal of seeing two characters become a couple, but before that is, well, friendship. We don't always need the spicy developments or the love triangle that expands into the fourth dimension to keep our interest anymore. It's about the journey of building a true human connection with another person that, you know, may eventually blossom into romance. Fiction, stories have always been there to fill the gap of something the viewer doesn't have. And forgive me for this conjecture, but I don't think it's a coincidence that in an era where the new generation are apparently going through a loneliness epidemic, where we went through a period that has just completely fucked with our social skills for a bit, the fantasy that a lot of people may crave might just be finding that right person they can bond with on a deeper level. That's right. The real power fantasy might just be the friends we made along the way. That was too much, right? That ruined the vibe.
Too much. Yeah, too much.
So to modern romance fans, all I can say is, I get it. I understand it now. That's not going to stop me from rewatching 4 seasons of Rent-A-Girlfriend though. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like to Gigak. He is awesome. You are awesome. Everyone is awesome. That was actually really interesting. He made a lot of good points about romance anime that we agree on, that I agree with. So yeah.